for the full session at the end of the session next week? Like all the recordings we've done in class?
I have some of them. I don't have all. The stuff like this I have.
Okay, yeah, that's what I was like 3, 2, 1.
And I didn't record the taped auditions because that's already on a Vimeo link.
Yeah, perfect.
Because it takes up a lot of room in the cloud. So, all right, cool. Let us begin with Vas and Travis, mute. And by the way, tell me which writing prompt you guys used.
This is the 2 producers slash in a budget.
Good, thank you. All right, here we go.
Money guy.
Hey Jordan, how's the shoot going, man?
Not bad. Not bad. It's actually, it's actually going pretty rad. Knock on wood. I think we might be making the next Lord of the Rings. We'll see. We'll see.
All right, well that's great, man. That's great.
Yeah.
You said you wanted to talk to me about something. Something on your mind?
Yeah. Yes. You know what? Yeah. Let's jump right into it. So we're gonna need some more money. Unfortunately, we've gone a little bit over, budget.
Okay, I understand, man.
Yeah.
Shit happens. How much more were you thinking?
Not much, man. Not much. We're thinking 300,000.
$300,000.
Yes.
It's a lot of money for an indie film, Jordan.
I know, man. It is, but I'll tell you what. It is not. It's not as much as it looks like on paper.
What does that mean?
Well, I mean, in the grand scheme of life, or it's in the bigger picture.
We
of the whole
budgeted
thing.
this film. We budgeted this film months before the production started. How are you already $300,000 over budget, and why am I just hearing about it now?
Okay. Okay. So let's just just backtrack. Take a sec. Breathe. Everything's gonna be cool. I think everything's resolvable so long as we are able to keep a open line.
Just send over your expenditures.
Okay. We'll do. Just keep in mind though. Just remember it. We got something really special going on here. Okay, we could very well be making the next Avatar. Okay. Sent. Hey, buddy, did you get it?
Yeah, buddy. Yeah, I got it. How, I see something here for $25,000, upwards of $25,000 for Calvin's Keto Cuisine?
Yes.
Are you making the entire crew eat keto?
Well, I mean, it is scientifically proven that the human mind runs better on a fatty diet. But that's a different conversation. I think we really lucked out with this place, because it's really, really great, and it's actually right next to the Hilton that we're staying at.
Wait, what? What Hilton, Jordan? What happened to the Airbnb? What the fuck, man?
Alan, we like having maids. I don't think that's completely unreasonable. I mean,
that is completely unreasonable. You're 4 weeks into the fucking shoot, man.
Well, you know what? Have some fucking faith, man. We could very well be making the next Star Wars here. I mean, we just need your support.
Well, I need you not to spend $15,000 on a seated leg press?
Wow, real nice, real cool, Alan. You know what? Being a good director requires having a strong foundation, and I'm sorry, but how do you expect me to command respect with these chicken legs? I am doing my best. God damn it.
You know what? This is my fault. This is my fault.
Thank you.
Yeah, this is my fault for investing in your film school dipshits. I put $750,000 in this film, and for this? No, Jordan. You're gonna finish this fucking film for the amount of money that you have fucking left. And if I don't fucking break even on this film, I'm coming to your home personally. I'm going to take the 50-pound weight off of your fucking personal leg press that you now own because of me, and I'm gonna crush your fucking skull with it, Jordan. Welcome to the fucking business. I hope that $5,000 you spent on a home aromatherapy kit was fucking worth it.
Way to go, man.
I thought that was incredibly fun and entertaining and clever. And I liked a couple things just stood out for me. The fact that it's an indie film that could be the next Avatar or Star Wars is hilarious. The big takeaway was, Travis, I've never seen you do this guy. This kind of hard, usually Travis is you're all about feelings and depth and nuance, emotional nuance. This was just a hard-edged guy, and you sold that to me. I mean, I've never seen you do that kind of character, and I think that's pretty cool. So I thought the writing was good. I missed, because I think the audio went out. What was the thing for your chicken legs, Vas? It's like a leg press or something?
Yeah, so my character spent $25,000 or something on a leg press because he feels inferior because he doesn't have masculine legs.
He can't be a leader without those legs.
Exactly.
If we were to look at this on the page, look at the text, it seems preposterous and ridiculous. But you guys sold it in a way that it felt, I mean, I went, yeah, okay. I know that guy, and I know that guy. I've met guys like that over the decades. And I thought, this, aside from the fact that it's hyperbolic, I mean, it's hyperbolic because the business they're in is hyperbolic. They're in the hyperbolic business. But you sold it to me on a reality, on a level of reality I thought was very believable. I really dug it. Tell me what you seem to be having a lot of fun. Tell me how you worked on it, or how did this come to be?
I'm going to give it up to him, man, because when he reached out to me, he was just like, hey, I've already got some ideas cooking. He was like really excited to get it writing. And he was like, we'll talk about it, whatever. And we had a meeting, and he was like, so this is like where my mind immediately went. And he started kind of like breaking it down. And I was like, yeah, man, that sounds fucking great. Just run with it. So So all props to him on the writing. That was all him, and he was very generous with everything. Like concerned about giving me enough, and I was like, no, dude, like this is great. This is a blast. Like this is funny. I'm excited to do it. So.
Well, I gotta also give credit to this guy because he was very, very like gracious in letting me kind of do that. Like for me, this week was about not just acting, but like writing, because I really don't write ever, and I have never written comedy. So like I really wanted to do that, and Travis was like super cool, and he was kind of like cheerleading me through the whole thing. So he was awesome to work with too.
The other thing, and then I want to open it up, but there's a moment in there, the moment when you text him or email him the expense thing.
Mm-hmm.
There's that long pause, like, did you get it? Have you gotten it? And then the pause as Travis is looking at it, just dramatically, that's a great moment. Because you know, as soon as he gets it, the shit's going to just hit the fan. But again, for me, the big takeaway, because you guys have both done such fun and interesting work, was Travis, I've just never seen you do that guy before. And that's something you can do. That's an interesting color for you, I think. Opening it up to other conversation, thoughts. Abigail.
Yeah. What's so interesting about a scene like this and about a lot of the scenes that we're doing in this class is that like it literally can't happen off of Zoom. And it's like so interesting, the kinds of scripts that work really well here that like I almost can't imagine elsewhere. I thought that there were just some really good moments of timing, like just with the first moment of like the $300,000 more and like the beat that we get there and the silence that we got worked really well. And just like writing wise, there was a lot of lack of explanation that actually catered well to the scene where it was like, I can't remember what it was, but he said something about like, and like $25,000 on like this. And you're like, yes. And it was like, oh, sick. Okay. Like, and I have a really hard time sometimes not answering the questions that are put forward in a script. And I think you did a really good job of only giving so much as to give him to the next thing where you're like, well, we're in the Hilton. And it was like, what was that like, but never really answering. So yeah, good job.
The other thing, and then there's some other comments, but the other thing about that, when you think, if a guy is saying this could be the next Avatar, could be the next Star Wars, and they only need $300,000, that seems like nothing. We don't know at the beginning what the full budget is. And then once we find that out, we realize what a fuck up he is. But that isn't revealed till later, which just from a writing standpoint, is very smart. Farrell, you had your hand up, and then Yvette, you had your hand after that.
Well, first of all, I love the two different energies of the two of you. So it really brought me into the scene. The first deadpan look that Travis gave, you immediately knew, oh no. And it went back and forth. So I just enjoyed the whole dialogue. And yes, total F up. And you're like, how's he gonna fix this? But I also got the sense that Travis's character is like, this is what he does all the time. It's like reeling people in. So I enjoyed it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yvette had her hand up next, I think.
I really liked watching it. It was kind of funny on my end, just seeing how with Travis, you just remind me of like the mama bird or the one that's like in charge of the books. You don't mess with the books. And once the other character messed with it, in my head, I was like, ooh, yeah, Travis. Like, just like that, like, sneaky, conniving thing. But also, it's just like, I just loved the pauses and the expressions and the reactions you guys had. Like, it was so pure. And it wasn't forced. And it's just like, y'all did amazing.
Thank you. Thank you.
Cameron.
I just want to say I really liked how it was set up, that the relationship was established right away, that you guys, how you work together, what you're, I really got a sense of your past history as you began, and just setting it there for it to then break down was just really, really funny to watch.
Plus the first line, money guy. As soon as he says that, I mean, maybe that, if I was to look at it more closely, maybe that's too much of a giveaway too soon, that he's just a douche. He's just like a really fucking weird guy. But Money Guy was great. Also, the just rage when you fly out of your seat about your legs, I just thought was ridiculous. But no, it's just clever. It was very clever, very watchable, you guys were really listening intently to each other also, which, I mean, that sometimes we just take that for granted, but some people don't do that very well. That you were really paying attention to each other and feeding off each other. And it did kind of feel to me like you were just kind of making it up. You know, it had that on the edge improvisatory sort of feel to it, even though I know it was scripted. And it was quite good. John.
I have nothing to add. I agree with every bit of praise. I see no reason why you two gentlemen shouldn't put a day's additional effort in and film this.
Yeah.
Like, it would take not much effort to sell that you're either in a Hilton vase or a film set and Travis dress in office. And I mean, this is a piece of content that can exist outside of this class. It doesn't feel like it's a class. It's original writing. It's funny as hell. I think you could even make the build to send me the expense sheets a little longer outside of the 3-2-1 format. I mean, you could ask for dailies. You could be like, just hold up a picture of the set on your phone. Even like, you can make it. You can really build the ridiculousness.
Yeah.
You could tease that out a little bit. But this is a standalone short to me. I love these guys. I would watch these guys. To me, this is like Tropic Thunder or like Kenny Powers. Like, it fits in that realm of like, we enjoy watching crummy people be crummy to each other.
Yeah.
And it's a very distinct brand of comedy, and it was just so tonally dialed in. I just like, don't let this be a one and done thing. That's all I'll say.
Good. I agree with that. What did you say, Travis? You say you lumped him in with a bunch of other film school guys. What is that line?
Oh, this is what I get for investing in you film school dipshits.
Dipshits. I forgot that. But that's the other thing that's so, you know, first of all, the natural friction is you have a director who has grand ambitions. You have a financier who is cheap as fuck because he's hiring film school dipshits. And so that natural friction is hilarious. You know, so I agree with John. I think you could definitely, you know, even just, hey, no matter what happens to it, you have it as a piece of footage for your reel or everything else. That was very, very cool. Very clever. Anybody else on this?
I will say one thing. On the first couple times that we were rehearsing this, Travis was like legitimately scary. Like, I was taken aback because he's so nice that when he like did the character, I was like, I forgot my lines at a certain point because he was like so like mean. But it was awesome. It was so good.
I've got latent rage. It's in there. It exists.
Well, and again,
I'm happy to bring it out.
I'll go back to my first comment, Travis. I've never seen you do that. A guy like that. And
he doesn't go out into the world very often. He usually stays, you know, in the household, which isn't better, I guess. But he stays inside most of the time.
That's the kind of guy, you know, there's a lot of, I shouldn't say there's a lot of work for that. There's not a lot of work for anything right now, but there is work for that type of guy, whether he's a film producer, whether he's a lawyer, whether he's a smart, strategic, he's a builder, he's a gambler. There is work for that kind of character. And I just have never seen you do it. And you did it. It just fits you like a glove. So, I mean, that for me, that was the big takeaway for you.
Thanks, Dad.
Okay, kids. Play nice now.
No, that was in reference to my own father and his latent condescension and rage in the world.
I thought you were calling Michael your dad.
No.
As did Michael.
I didn't question it. I thought it just came across totally normal. I thought that was just a thing between you two.
All right. Are we good to go to Farrell and Christine's? Are you guys set?
Yeah. Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah, of course. Here we go. See you in a few.
Hi. Can you hear me?
Hi, yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, you're crystal clear.
Oh, really? I feel like I'm underwater.
No, you sound great. Do I?
You sound like a bell. You always sound like a bell. um, hey, were the groceries okay that I dropped off earlier?
Yes. Thank you for that. Oh, the homemade brownies were great.
Crap. That's what I was calling about.
Crap is not a nice word.
Sorry, Miss McDaniel. Um, so cute story. Do you remember how I said that I got the brownies from my coworker at the grocery store? That's mostly true, like a good amount true. I did get the brownies from a coworker, Shane, but he didn't like give me them. I sort of like stole them from his locker because he's always stealing my Go-Gurts. And I never ever do that kind of stuff, but I got tired of him being such a dick.
Oh, language.
Sorry. Anyway, so I swiped a bunch of candies and brownies from his locker, you know, because of my Go-Gurts.
Oh, are you saying that I ate stolen brownies? Oh, yeah, it's never good to steal things, Kylie.
No, I know, and I'm really sorry. But also, I ate a crap ton of the candies when I got home, and then I started feeling like a little bee, like I'm all buzzy, and I looked, and it turns out that they're pot candies. And I'm pretty sure that the brownies might have been filled with pot too.
Oh, sweet heaven. Are you saying that I ate stolen brownies with the devil's lettuce?
So I just wanted to like check in and like see if you're okay. And also to let you know that I saw the cops driving down our street like 10 minutes ago, and they drove by twice. And honestly, I think that they know.
The cops? The cops? Now, Kylie, I am an accomplice. Did you hear that? I'm gonna go look outside.
Here, I'm gonna go look too. Just stay down.
Oh, okay. Oh.
Okay, this is getting too real. And I think that we need to get out of here. We need to get smart and get out of town for just a little bit. And I got all this money saved from my weekend shifts at the grocery store. We can steal my brother's ATVs and we'll just head up north before anybody finds out.
No, I can't leave. I have responsibilities. I have cats.
Oh my God, the cats. I love those kittens. They can come with. They can get like little helmets with the goggles for the ATV. It's like the cutest ever.
Let's do this. Come on. I have a black turtleneck that I can wear. Oh, okay. I have money hidden in my china cabinet. Shh. Oh, don't tell anybody where my money is.
Miss McDaniel, you're really nice, but I don't want to take your money because I got us into this. You and your perfect little kittens. And so we are going to use my money and we'll go. And you're going to look so good in that turtleneck. And it's going to be great.
Yeah. Go. Whoa. Okay. Oh, okay. Okay. Shh. Okay. Oh.
Okay. we're kind of in trouble. Yes. But we're going to get some Funyuns and some tortillas, and we're going to head north.
Yes.
And we're going to make it, baby. We are going to make it, and it's going to be beautiful. It's going to be the most beautiful. And I don't mean to seem like frivolous, but I just wish someone had told me how good it feels to be a criminal.
Right? Oh, right. And they're going to know that I am one too. Oh, did you hear that? Oh, God.
Okay, we'll both rendezvous at 11:30 tonight. You, me, the cats. This is the start of a new life, Miss McDaniel.
Oh, 11:30 is way past my bedtime. Oh, wait. I have this great flashlight. I can bring it. And you know what? It's going to look really good with my turtleneck.
Oh my God. Did you get it at Rick's Hardware?
I did. They have great sales.
They do. Oh my God. I'm really going to miss Rick and his sweet sales.
Well, I mean, we're criminals now. We have to say goodbye to our lives. We do. We just have to get on those, what are they, TVs, right? And just get out of town before the cops come.
Okay. I'm going to go pack a bag.
Okay.
And I just got this like great scented candle that I'll bring with because it's like super relaxing. And then I'm probably going to take a nap. And then I'll see you at like, I don't know, I want to say like 9:30ish.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, so I'm gonna write goodbye letters to my plants. Okay, wait. Do you have any more of those brownies?
Mm.
Okay.
I'll just swipe some more from Dickhead Shane when I get the Funyuns.
Shane's a dick. Oh,
Okay. Okay, I'll see you soon.
Is it over? Oh man, hang on. So it begs the question, was any cannabis consumed in the creation of this event?
no.
No, but full disclosure, I would totally do it with Farrell. I think we'd have a riot.
I had to do research, and I did.
Christine, what is your character's name again? Do you have a name?
Yeah, Kylie.
Kylie.
Uh-huh.
So, and what was the writing premise on this? I forgot to ask before you started.
It was loosely based on the two thieves plan a heist.
Oh, okay. Yeah, loosely based.
Took the road less traveled there.
I mean, there's a couple of things that I really enjoyed it, and there's a couple of things that whenever people play intoxicated, it's always a little bit of a trap from the acting standpoint. I didn't feel that fell into that at all. I was kind of delighted by the whole thing. Just a lot of weird, interesting little choices, like the way his name was Shane, and the way that you not only stole his stuff, you're going to steal his ATVs.
No, I'm stealing my brother's ATV.
Well, your brother, but you're a thief, is my point.
Yeah, now I'm just going for broke.
Yeah, you're a thief. So I mean and the other thing is, when it first started, I thought, gee, Farrell's a little unusual at the beginning. But Farrell was clearly a little further gone than you at the beginning, which was
I
cool.
ate all the brownies.
Yeah, brownies plural. You'd probably be on the floor. But
I would have been.
how did you, just tell me how you wrote it, like, first of all.
Well, initially, like we started with the idea of like, yeah, okay, so what did we steal? Do we want to steal diamonds? Do we want to steal like blah blah blah? And then it became like, oh, what if we wanted to like, what if we had committed a crime and now we have to like get to international waters? And so then it's like we have to steal a yacht. And then it was like, what if it was smaller than this? And we had to like, you know, go north to Canada or something like that. And then it became this thing of like, we're just idiots who don't know what we're doing, and we're just making it worse for ourselves. And then basically we kind of came up with, you know, mini backgrounds, and then we shared a Google Doc and just improv'd.
Tell me about the mini backgrounds. I'm curious about that.
Well, we're neighbors.
Okay.
I used to be her English teacher.
Ah,
And now she has to work this weekend job, right, to make some extra money at the grocery store. So she always brings me my groceries.
Mhm. And that's pretty much it. It's that I you know, am youngish, and I am straight-laced and whatever, and then I help out my neighbor, and then I rebel and get us into a lot of trouble in my head.
And at one point we had my children, one of my boys is a lawyer, so we were going to get him to help us, but you know, he just kind of,
We had to whittle.
I was very entertained, and the thing that plays nicely with, because Farrell, you have a natural kind of, what am I trying to say? Like a natural dignity, a natural, you have further to fall, let's say, right? Your fall is more severe. And Christine presented herself, Christine, who's a chameleon who can kind of do anything, presented herself as already kind of half of a criminal. I was wildly amused by the whole thing, and it didn't for me fall into the trap of when, you know, because when at a certain point when there's a scene with people who are intoxicated, you feel like I'm missing out on something because they're having too much fun. It never felt like that. It just felt kind of believable to me, given the absurdity of the circumstances. But I want to open it up, see what other people thought. Yeah, Vaz, and then Yvette.
Okay, so my face legitimately hurt from like smiling so hard. That was so freaking funny. One thing I really loved, because I agree with Michael, when people are drunk or high on screen, it's totally not an easy task. But like, you guys had this way of like starting somewhere, and anyone who's been high knows it's like you end up just going into oblivion and things just make less and less sense, and you guys did that so well. And I just love that. It was so entertaining.
Yvette.
I feel like this is like a scenario where we like seeing like strict square people just like end up going like batshit, especially where like Mrs. McDaniel is like, Shane's a dick. It was just so fun to watch, and it was like very spicy, especially like seeing like you intoxicating someone else, and it's like, oh no, where's it going from here? And just seeing that roller coaster was such a joy. It was so pure. I loved it.
Also, there's a little thing in the script that Christine, your character, says, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this, and then I'm going to take a nap. So when you say you're going to take a nap, I thought, okay, well, it's off. You're not going to go anywhere, because she's going to probably sleep for 4 hours, wake up, and not know what the fuck just happened. But other comments, please. Yeah, Kels.
There we go. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Crikey. That was so delightful. I just want to point out the amazing moment-to-moment work that works into the vocal variation that you guys were playing with. When you're whispering really makes a difference as far as just like technical stuff. Like it's the whispering, it's like the elongation of the words, how the words are so exciting when you say them. It's so delicious to watch actors play in that context based on these characters. It's super, super duper fun to watch. Great job, guys.
John, and then Abigail.
I think piggybacking off of what Michael was saying and Voss touched upon with intoxicated people not necessarily being as involving to watch, it's because the temptation to like go over the top and lose control and get really self-indulgent. And I had a blast watching y'all, but I also felt taken care of as an audience member. I felt like, okay, I can sit back and enjoy the ride because these are two very skilled people doing something I've not ever seen either of them do. Farrell, I literally had to take off my pants. I spit took when you said the devil's lettuce. I can't tell, like, it just hit me. It just hit me. It was so unexpected. And like all the specificity of the writing, Gogurt, genius. Could have been any other thing. This, from a writing standpoint, it's a masterpiece of specificity. And then to Kelsey's note, the way that you built the arc in and all the subtleties that you both brought to it. I mean, this is, to me, holds up in the great canon of like buddy comedies. It was very, very pitch perfect.
Abigail.
It was delightful. That was something I wrote down. And like, just to confirm, like also what John said, it was like, you guys were having a lot of fun and it was like, you were inviting us to have fun with you. And so like, it's hard when like, you can tell people are laughing, like when actors are laughing, just like for the sake of laughing for being high. But like, I found that you guys both genuinely thought what each other was saying was funny. Like with the plants and with the kittens and like, I like thought that was great. Two different kinds of stoned people, and that just creates like a nice difference, even though like you're both stoned. It's like she's way more paranoid and you're like, I got it. The polo was a great choice just to show like grocery store worker, Funyuns. I like, the only thing that I would want to see more of is like, there was a part where you were like, you're so nice, you're gonna look so good in your turtleneck. And I kind of just wanted it to like dip a little bit, like it really, like you really saw how beautiful it was, and just like kind of go a little bit deeper into that just to give like one more piece of like variation. But it was like, it was grand.
Yes, somebody else had their hand up, I think. Emma.
Yeah, I mean, that was just so fun. I really loved kind of what Kelsey was touching upon, just like the moment to moment. Obviously, when we're in Zoom, it's not an ideal situation, and I have horrible internet connection. So at different points throughout it, it was kind of breaking up for me, but it was like every time it came back, you guys were in a different like part of the roller coaster. And so it just kind of heightened that for me. Not that you can have control over it, but it really was just a wild ride. So thanks for taking us on it.
Yes, I forgot, somebody brought it up, the letter you're writing to your plants. What are you're writing a goodbye letter to your plants? But again, John touched on, I think I touched on it, Funyuns just drove me off the edge. Gogurt, exactly. That specific stuff is so additive when you have something that is, because you could really fall into the cliche. And what I got from it, whether this was intended or not, is that Farrell's character has never been high, probably rarely been drunk, and Christine is a stoner. I don't know if that's true. That's what I got. I mean, Christine's more experienced with this, right? But because Farrell, you had several moments where you would be delightfully laughing, and then something serious would occur to you to throw you off that and to make you reevaluate the moment to moment. It was very
those turns, Farrell, were like razor sharp and so perfect.
Agreed.
Thank you. Well, I will say with the devil's lettuce, because I did do research.
How dare you?
Because of what you were talking about, and I watched this young man who's got like this video page where he talks about drugs, like he's done heroin and meth, and I guess his followers are like, but you're not talking about, doing marijuana. And he was like, yeah, man, I do that all the time. But he called it the devil's lettuce, and I was like, oh my god, that's brilliant. Let's use that.
Well,
I think it was like also like you leaned in, conspiracy. It was just the moment The moment just really, I think everybody kind of had a moment during it, which is a testament to the brilliant writing, but that one was definitely, that's the last thing I ever thought I would hear you say in the best way possible.
And it's a little bit of an homage to Cameron Jones, former studio member, who is a Kiwi from New Zealand, and he always and he enjoyed the devil's lettuce, and he would always call it the devil's lettuce. John does that better than I do. Okay, yeah, not gonna happen. Anything else on this? I think we all just laughed and loved it. Yeah, Cam.
Just real quick, I agree with everything everyone said about how hilarious and awesome. I just also liked the device of leaving the chair to go check for the cops. Just like, it almost seems like a hilarious jump cut, and I was just laughing so hard. It was so funny. I almost wish there was like a, hey, like an extended pause where she's just gone.
Yeah, actually, that moment could have gone on really long, to the point where we wonder, are they still around? Where did they go? Yeah, sometimes we don't want to take all that time, but that's really funny.
I will just say one thing. I also don't write much like this. I do other kinds of stuff, but this has been really, really fun. This assignment and the one that I did with Cameron too. But both Farrell and I, we were laughing hysterically doing this. And I was like, this is so much fun because neither of us ever get looked at for this kind of stuff. And it would be so flipping fun to do. And so it was just sort of like a little, spring break moment of like, we were just having fun and it was a joy. It was a good week.
And that's actually a really important point that you bring up, because we all get put into a little cubby hole as far as what our range is, how we get seen. And I mean, that's the point of doing stuff in class, is to do things that are a little bit outside of that for you, if you can. I'll go back to what I said about Travis, is I just have never seen him do that guy. And so, yeah, and it was, I mean, the hardest thing with a scene like that, of what you guys just did, is for it to be believable all the way through. And it was believable all the way through for me. I bought it entirely. Anything else on that?
I think that the genesis of like and I hope I'm not speaking out of turn, Michael and Kels, but like in thinking of splitting up the kind of like actor generated stuff in the auditions was to work both muscles, because it's tempting to do what you're good at, do what gives you the pat on the back of the cookie. But we're in a time and place where it's so unexpected. And I like, everyone can say, I'm not a writer. I think what they're really saying is I haven't done it, or I don't have the confidence, or it's uncomfortable. But if you're an actor, you innately, like, you read. If you're a reader, you can be a writer. And in the 3-2-1s, that's the time to do what both of these first scenes have done, which is like, blow open your type. Don't play to your strengths. Do something wild, or like redefine, create something where like, yeah, maybe no one saw you that way, but now they can't not see you that way. And then with the auditions, it's the other muscle, which is know how to do what you get typed as, know how to do what you do the best you can do it, because there's a certain expectation there. And I don't think anyone else is doing this, and I think it's really cool. And I just commending everybody on this. Like, everybody has just risen to the occasion so beautifully.
Yeah, I think that is John and Kelsey and I have talked about this a lot. We've gone round and round, but essentially agree on format and trying to figure out what is my purpose. And as long as I've done this over a decade now, is to be useful, so that whatever we do is useful to you, helps you. And I think creating, dipping your toes into the waters of creating content, which is some of us have done a lot of that, some of us have done none of that, but that is very liberating. And then again, having to toe the mark in the audition world and have it be how they see you, how they want to see you. I coached an audition yesterday for some, I sometimes I get these with various actors. You'll get an audition that is, and I always struggle with it personally. It's in an alternate universe. It's a different world. It's DC Comics or it's whatever it may be. And I always, because what I've always felt I did well as an actor was something that was grounded and real. When we get into those other worlds, I'm a little bit out of my depth. And I had this guy yesterday who was a really good actor. He just had to play this horrible, evil DC Comics character. And it was so much fun. We just had so much fun because he's a tall, imposing African-American guy, but he doesn't get cast for that sort of thing. And it was just so much fun to do something where you could actually just go big and not be criticized for going big, you know? Cool. Are we set for Yvette and Abigail? And if so, what was the writing prompt you guys chose?
We chose someone shows up to the cocktail party already drunk.
In the theme of intoxication,
Yeah.
we shall continue. Okay. See you in a minute.
I'll let you know when I'm ready.
Okay.
Okay, ready.
Okay, sweet. Oh my God, there's someone in the waiting room. Rebecca, oh my God, let her in. Let her in. Rebecca? Thank you, thank you, thank you. It's so good to see you.
Oh, ditto, babe. Like, I miss you. You and your beautiful face. Like, I want to hug you.
Oh my God, are you good?
Yeah. Where is everyone?
Oh, I mean, like they're like, you know, they're gonna come in. You're just the first one here, which is very unlike you.
Right?
Rebecca.
I got it. I got it.
Oh my God. Can I get you some water? Like,
You can't. We're on Zoom.
oh my God, it's like such a force of habit. Right. You get yourself some water.
Fine.
Good.
I'll be right back.
Okay.
I don't know where to put my water. Oh well. It's okay. It's okay. What's going on?
No,
Wait.
sorry.
No. You. Birthday girl goes first.
Okay. I was gonna, what have you been up to?
Not much. My job fell through and you know, we can't go out, so I'm just trying to keep myself occupied.
Right.
What about you?
I mean, sorry, I feel like I've been like saying the same thing to everybody. Overall, I've been pretty good. I've been working from home. Matt's been really great.
He's such a good guy.
He is, yeah.
Like, I want a boyfriend. I just want to flirt with a guy in person. Like, I'm on Hinge and I'm on Bubble and I'm on all the other apps and everyone's just hooking up, but no one's meeting up. And oh, I rhymed. But whatever. Maybe some people are, but that's stupid.
You mean, sorry, people aren't meeting up? Because you could, like, I feel like if you're like safe and like, I don't know, if you're like distant and stuff, and if you like wanted to do more or whatever, you could like test it.
Whatever, it doesn't matter. Who needs boys? I know that this will never leave me. Mm.
You do you feel like you've been drinking more?
Oh, 100%. I mean, probably as much as college.
Right, but we're not in college.
But we're in a pandemic.
Yeah, yeah, I feel like that would, yeah, it's like kind of was normal, okay, like an excuse for the first couple months, but it's been like 7 months, so it's just kind of like,
What?
no, like I'm not judging. I just feel like it's like something to like think about. Like it's like if that's like how you like want to spend your time.
What are you saying?
Nothing. Like, oh my God, nothing.
I mean, we haven't talked in months, and the first time you see me, you say that I have what, a drinking problem?
No, my God, no. I'm sorry. Oh my God, I don't even know where that came from. I'm so sorry. It's my birthday.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, and I love you. So like,
Me too.
yeah, I just whatever. There are people in the waiting room. I'm gonna let them in.
Yes, dude. Let's get this party started.
And that's the scene.
Done.
We are back. Let's get this party started. So I enjoyed that. I have a couple of thoughts.
For sure.
Because the writing prompt is tricky, because when you show up drunk, where do we go from there? Dramatically, where do we go from there?
Yeah.
And so the pivot moment for me was, do you feel like you've been drinking more now? Which is, I like the way you kind of just put that in there. The only thing as far as playing of it, I would say, is because Yvette, I love that you were like way too loud. The way people who drink are just like too fucking loud, and they're too close to the lens, and they're kind of like a little bit out of control. Abigail, I wished you had gotten quieter with her, rather than match her energy. We tend to do that. We tend to try to match the energy of whoever we're playing with. It would have been comedically a little more additive if you would have just been in a quiet mode vocally, because Yvette was so loud in the proper way. I mean, it was funny. It was very funny. But I enjoyed it. It's clever. And what in your mind's eye, what happens when you open up the meeting room to other people?
It never comes up again.
Yeah, we wanted it to be where this is like a serious topic, but we just don't know how to bring it up because they're so close, and it is like an issue. But it's just like what's that saying? Like you're like tiptoeing on like glass or eggshells.
Yes.
I wanted to give it kind of like that vibe.
Well, and the other thing you could do, it just occurs to me now in the writing, is you Yvette, show up early because you want some private time with your good friend before everyone else shows up. It just sort of is set up now that you're just the first one in. There's always somebody who's the first one in. There's always somebody who's first to the party. So the idea that you would actually have a purpose for showing up early because you want to hang with your friend before everyone else does might have been an interesting way to go too. But I want to open it up. I want to open it up. Vaz, yes, and then John.
Hi. Okay, so great job. That was really, really entertaining. And I just wanted to say, on top of good writing, Yvette, I think this is my favorite thing I've ever seen you do, because you weren't, in my opinion, like over the top drunk. You were like kind of like a perfect amount. And there was actually a moment that you had that I really, really liked where you were like, I guess it was angry drunk, or like you started to you were like questioning like what are you saying, like are you saying I have a drinking problem? I feel like you handled that moment really, really well, because angry drunks are like the most volatile people to be around, and you don't know how they're going to react, so you created that atmosphere very well, in my opinion. So great job.
I knew acting drunk was going to be very, very challenging. And so I tried doing my homework and just, reflecting on my past and on friends. I'm like, let's see how this goes.
It was fun. It was cool.
Thank you.
John, did you have your hand up?
I did. I greatly enjoyed it, and I agree with Voss, and I will augment slightly and say I feel like what was very successful in my mind was that there was a potential for danger at any moment. Not danger physically, obviously you're apart, but danger of like it turning from loud and tipsy to like volatile. And I really enjoyed, Abigail, watching you have to sort of do that navigation. I do wonder, and I wouldn't have thought of this had Michael not opened with saying that the prompt is difficult, which I agree, and I commend you guys for choosing this. Is there value in starting it off where Yvette, your character, is trying to hide it? Because people, in my experience, people do try to hide it. If she's been going for an hour before the party starts, then you build in an arc of some place to go, and you can slowly reveal it. Because this is something I got way back from a mentor of mine when I was in school. The best way to play drunk is to play a drunk trying not to be drunk. So just a thought, but should you revisit it, if it starts from there, you give yourself a place to go, then you really hit that high note of the drinking problem moment. And that to me is the moment where it's like, oh shit, this isn't just a comedy, this isn't just silly, this is really hitting home. And especially now in COVID, I've had these conversations with people. So I commend you guys for picking a hard prompt, and I think it was a nice navigation of a complicated subject.
I agree, and I think the idea, just a great idea, John, if you piggyback the idea of showing up where you're not showing how drunk you are initially, and maybe showing up early because you want a little private time with your friend, then that allows you to find the moment when we know, oh, she's fucking drunk. Because now you come in pretty much at 80 miles an hour and you go up to about 100. But if you come in at a lower speed, it gives you a little ramp up. But
it begs, if you get that ramp up, then it begs the question, why does she have to get loaded to see her friend?
Exactly.
And you don't have to answer that question, but it just gives a little more like heft to the scene. And it suddenly, like, to me, it justifies the sillier moments. That's not to denigrate like what you guys did, which I loved, but just my 2 cents.
Abigail.
No, totally. I like those are really good. We were like, I think like Yvette and I kept trying to find ways to like visually show that she was drunk. That wasn't like being like, like being like saying that she was drunk, like spilling on her and like doing those kinds of things. And like, but yeah, like, and with it being so short with like 3 pages, it was like, I think we just got stuck in like trying to be like, how do we have this problem come up and then be able to like go through it in 3 pages? But I do agree that like it, like trying to hide it and then like it coming out like, and it was we like rewrote it a couple of times. It was just like hard to figure out the right way to go with it.
It's definitely tricky. It's definitely a tricky one. But you guys navigated it pretty well. Kelsey.
Yeah, I would also say that you can layer in the time pressure of people joining in. Like every time somebody clicks saying ready to be admitted, you're still dealing with Rebecca.
Yeah.
You're still dealing with your friends, and you don't want her to be embarrassed or you don't want her to embarrass herself. I think the time pressure of those people will actually keep the scene contained in those 3 pages.
Okay.
Okay.
That's a great note. I agree. Farrell.
When the scene started, Yvette, your eyes were so glossy and great. And of course, we were told what the premise was. So I was like, how did she do that? Because they were just really big.
I
And
just zoomed in.
it worked. And when you spilled the alcohol, I was like, oh. And Abigail, when she went off to get the water, I mean, the pressure that you felt, it was almost like you're kind of hosting your own event and it is your birthday and now your friend is showing up drunk. And I was like with you. And another thing in the script that I just kind of, the layer that I put on and embraced was that it is in the time of a pandemic and people keep asking, what are you doing? It was like, yeah, well, I binge watched something. And it's just like, even more pressure than we already have as far as what are you doing and what's happening. And I really felt that on both ends. And I did like the pandemic, like why the F not drink? So I loved the simplicity, but I was just like, my stomach was in knots going how uncomfortable this was. So
Good.
nice job.
And I would also say that because we are putting a time limit on it and it is 3 pages, that presents all these other challenges, which I thought you guys navigated pretty well. These are, by the way, I mean, almost to a person, I won't even say almost. The notes on these are really strong. I mean, they're just so interesting because it takes it from a funny scene we're familiar with this kind of behavior to a scene that's got a little bit of danger to it. And the potential for real embarrassment, and trying to have that fit into 3 pages is a challenge, which I think for the most part you guys did really well. But that is the exercise, and bravo to you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, we really wanted people to feel like uncomfortable, like Farrell said, so that was really good. And just like kind of, we wanted to leave people with the feeling of like, I feel like that could have gone better. Like, that was really it.
Is this next scene sober, by the way? It is? Okay, good, because I'm looking forward to a scene of sobriety of some sort. Any more comments on this before we move on? All right. So Bianca and Emma, what was the writing prompt you guys chose?
The cooking lesson over Zoom.
Good, cool. All right, we'll see you in a few.
Yay. Okay, Bianca, I'll turn my camera on, or I'll tell you when we're ready. We can
I need
really
2 seconds.
Okay, yeah, me too. 1 sec.
Okay, bye-bye. Oh shit, on a motherfucking, I just broke this. I'm an idiot. This isn't the scene. I actually just broke something, sorry.
Are you good?
Yeah, give me like 1 minute. Or 30
Oh no,
seconds.
I meant, did you break something of value?
Oh, no. Just, no. All good.
Oh, okay. Okay, I'm ready when you are.
Me too.
Okay, sweet. Maggie? Maggie,
Hi, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, but I can't see you.
Oh shit, give me a second. I'm still new to the Zoom era. Oh, let's see here. Hello, hi. I can see you now. You look just like your pictures. You're so pretty.
Oh my gosh, thank you. I mean, I'm just so happy that Caitlin was able to connect us.
Me too. I apologize if I'm a bit rusty to this cooking thing, as well as this new dating scene.
Oh my gosh, of course. I mean, quarantine is hard enough already, so.
I'm just happy to have Friday plans. So what ingredients do we need, or ingredients do I need?
Okay, right. So it is a pasta dish. So you'll want to get some spaghetti and maybe a glass or bottle of wine.
Oh my goodness, let's see here. What do I got? Oh,
I'm just preparing over here too.
I really this hamburger helper. Will that do the trick?
Sure. Yeah.
All right, Chef Reese. What's next?
So grab a pot and fill it up with some water. Put it on the stove to boil.
I don't have either of those.
The water or the pot?
Both. I'm gonna have to use tap water and oh, I'm just gonna use this old candle holder. Perfect. And
For a candle holder,
water at use. All right, water at medium temperature. Let me set my thing at medium temperature. That is.
Yeah, and then just put a little pinch of salt in there too.
Okay. I'm sorry, I keep walking back. I don't mean to be rude. I did want to ask you, since I've never been out with a professional chef before, what got you into cooking?
Oh, yeah. Okay, yeah. I mean, it's kind of cliche. My grandma used to spend hours and hours cooking, and I, it was her passion. And so when I was younger, I used to help her prep the vegetables, and we'd spend a lot of great quality time together. There's just something about taking just raw, fresh ingredients and turning them into this beautiful, colorful dish. So I'm actually in my grandma's kitchen right now, and there's this sign up here that says that it's Grandma's kitchen, and so it's pretty fitting. But yeah, I mean, there was just nothing like did you just spit the wine into the hamburger helper?
Oh yes, I want to let all the juices marinate or ruminate, or what's that word? Marinate.
Yeah.
Marinate.
Yeah. That's the right word. I just don't think wine was the right choice. Maggie, I think you put yourself on mute.
I wanted to say I am so happy that I heard that story about your grandpa.
Yeah. Oh, my grandma. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Right, grandma. My family is actually really big on traditions. We used to have this dog, and his name's Clifford, and he died about, I want to say 3 years ago, and we were so attached. We got him stuffed, and now, because we couldn't let go, now we actually let Clifford go from each house. So he goes from my parents' house to my siblings' house, and actually, this Christmas, Clifford's gonna stay with me, and he's this big, red, fluffy dog, and I love him so much. And I was thinking, because I was decorating the house for Christmas, that I might put him right on top of the Christmas tree, because I think he'd be right there under all the presents. And you know what, Reese? I'm so sorry. You should come over for Christmas. I'm so rude. I think that everyone would love to have you. It'll be so fun. It's a big family tradition. We have so much fun all the time, and I think you should be there.
You know what? Oh my God. I just got this email.
An email from who?
From work. Apparently the kitchen has burned down.
Your kitchen burned down? Just right now?
Just it's in flames. So I've got to go. Like immediately.
Your kitchen's in flames, right? You have to leave right now. But all right.
Yeah. Yep. Just like right now. So this has been like. Okay, so I'll talk.
I guess. Thank you for the recipe. I'll definitely say. And okay. I think she hung up on me. I didn't even get to say bye. All right. Almost broke 10 times. Oh my God, I'm sweating.
You're sweating?
Yeah. I spilled water on my mouse pad, and I almost broke my webcam cover beforehand.
Oh my God.
I think you should add that to the scene. That was one of the most dynamic beginnings without video I've ever experienced.
So I'm trying to figure out what actually happens on this one. I mean, we have a cooking lesson that goes wrong, and I'm looking at my notes here, and it's where do I mean the big change obviously is when you have the fake email at the end. Obviously, that's your way out. How does couple things before I launch into it. Emma, I've never seen you do this kind of more outward character as much. You know, it's just like it's just this cheerful outward cooking person. It was very skillful on your part. Tell me how you guys wrote it.
Yeah, so we kind of quickly established which scenario we wanted to go with. And Bianca kind of laid the foundation. We knew that we wanted it to be like the cooking one person was the chef, and have it be like a setup, like a blind kind of date thing. And then we were just kind of thinking like, what can be the weirdest thing that could ever happen that would make someone like literally run off the webcam? And so obviously stuffed dog at Christmas came to mind. And yeah, we just kind of ran with it. Just wanted it to kind of like start off where it's like, okay, it's a little weird. Maybe there's redemption, like a possibility for redemption here. And then just kind of like wanted to escalate completely.
Well, and I will say this, because Bianca, you have this just propulsive sort of comedic energy. And in a way, I think you can pull it back and then ramp it up, because you like come out like, whoa, guns blazing comedically, and I love that. But my advice would be to just dynamically give yourself somewhere to ramp up on that. But it's very clever and very funny. I want to open it up to other folks here. Yvette, and then John.
Quick question. So was Clifford literally like a stuffed dog, or was he like a real dog that you guys stuffed?
He was a real dog.
Okay, so off of that, I just really like how with like the Southern hospitality and just how like it's common over there or just wherever it's very rural to do that to animals, and for someone not to be used to that, it's like a big culture shock. And I think like both of you guys did really well with that. And I also love the ending of like she hung up before I said bye. It's like it's like you have to say bye. But you guys did a really good job with those parts.
Thank
John, you had your hand up.
Yeah, I agree with Michael about the pulling it back so you can build it up. The structure of this, not the cooking element, but the structure of this kind of comedy is really dependent upon a straight man or woman having to react to increasingly higher stakes. And Emma, I loved watching you play that role. Your reactions were so engaged, and you played it so moment to moment. It was neat. It was really cool, and I agree with Michael. Like, this is something that's kind of, you've thrown a lot of yourself intentionally, which is cool. But this was a unique thing, and the sincerity with which you played it until that phony phone call at the end, which is great, was really cool. Bianca, I don't know you very well, but you got a lot. You got a lot, and I think if you can, like, if you learn to turn that into like an aria, and if you can build an arc into that, like that, not a lot of people could do that. And I want to really, really highlight everybody so far has done a great job with like using the Zoom camera, because let's face it, this is not really very flattering for anybody. You found such a way of like the moving around and the way the audio went out and then coming really close. I mean, it was a very fearless performance, and I want to highlight that, because I think too often we take for granted that, oh, it's Zoom, we don't really care about like that stuff. But there was some cool, dare I say, like cinematography going on there.
Indeed.
Thank you.
Saw another hand up somewhere. I thought, Kelsey.
Yeah, I just want to dovetail off of what John said. Just the the difference of the two characters, the like straight man of Reese and then the wild craziness of Maggie. And I think if you find direct spots where Reese gets kind of twisted a little bit by what Maggie does, you build the steps down from there. So if like Maggie is just a little calmer, like if she's at like a 4 when she's looking for a pot and she's got the candle, right? Like the candle's the first big thing. That's like, oh, that's weird. You know, and then you build and build, and then that allows Maggie to explode while still keeping Reese on par with her eventually being like, I gotta get out of this. Because it was so bombastic from the start where it was just like, whoa, here we go. But it didn't have a lot to go. But that fearlessness is really exciting to watch, and that's fun. I will watch that any day.
The other thing that is occurring to me as I'm hearing the comments is that we know the premise is a cooking lesson, let's say, that goes wrong. And I know we're also dealing with a shorter format. So is it like, did you win this at a blind auction at your kid's school? How did you hook up with this chef? I mean, that would have been an interesting frame from which to start. Like, you contacted her and she, charges a lot of money, but she does do private lessons. Or how did, that would have benefited from that a little bit, because then it helps put both of you in sort of a different framework. Does that make sense?
Definitely. Yeah, we probably just sped right through it because it was a blind date and we were set up by our friend Kylie. What was her name? Caitlin.
Oh, that's right. You did have.
Yeah, we could have talked about it a little more, I think.
Farrell, I thought you had your hand up. Yes.
Yeah, there were two things I loved. We were informed on who the chef was by your first response to, well, I have the helper. And you were like, okay, but we already know, okay, this is a nice person. So we knew even as outrageous as she was going to do, you weren't going to attack her. And I love that choice. And just the outrageous choices of licking the salt was like, oh my God, and scratching your back. It was almost like Lucille Ball. It's like, you go with it. It's like, okay, that's who this person is. And I wrote down the line because I loved it. It was like, just good to have plans. Because then we're like, yes, it is. So entertain us. So some lovely choices were made.
But to sort of speak to a little bit of what John said, Bianca, you do have this just big, fantastic energy, and not a lot of people can do that. It's like you go head first into the water, and it's so much fun to watch. So I would say your challenge at this point is how to calibrate that with a little bit, just how to calibrate it a little bit, because you having that's something that you honestly can't even teach. Somebody either is really willing to jump off the high board or they're not, and you will jump off the high board, and it's so much fun to watch. Does that make sense to you?
Definitely. I think like with characters like that, I want to just come in really fast because I'm like, comedy has always been something that I've never been my strong suit, I've thought, because I've always had dramatic training. And so I feel like I just want to like go, go, go. But I feel like I can crescendo or climb with it and stuff.
Yeah. Other thoughts on this? John, yes.
I will offer real quick, Bianca, just countering what you're saying. There's nothing wrong with coming in hard and fast. And to Farrell's note, actually the way you constructed it is really neat because you really do, from right off the bat, get who these characters are. And that's pretty essential. It's just then being able to like de-escalate and finding those low notes and high notes. I always think of it as like music, but specifically on stuff like the dog, because the stuffed actual, or the taxidermied actual dog, like I grew up in the South, so while I don't endorse that myself, it is not anathema to see all sorts of taxidermy shit. But for most people, it's maybe somewhat horrifying or repulsive. I call it like gaslighting the audience, but the less you telegraph and the more calm and normal that you say, the more, pardon my French, everybody, but like fucked up shit, the more you give Emma room to react. She is the foil for the audience. She gets to have our reaction. And then based off of that, you give yourself a nice runway to go back up. It's just really fine to, because there's nothing like the writing itself, while it's not like earth shattering, groundbreaking, there's not emotions all over the place. This is in many ways like classic comedy. It's just really, comedy in many ways is so hard because you do have to be so much more specific. But there, disabuse yourself that you can't come in full force. I mean, Jim Carrey made a career off of that. It's just then go. It's like if you don't give yourself somewhere to go at the beginning, you have to build that in artificially, and sometimes that is like de-escalating so that you can go back up. Sorry, ramble.
Yes.
As like the Jim Carrey analogy is so good, because if you watch what he does, he is so big and then he catches himself and he reels it back in. And I think if she knows they're being set up on a blind date, she's going to catch herself a little bit based on Reese's response, right? So those might be good moments of like, where does she catch herself and where does she go?
Indeed. Anybody else on this? All right, cool. These were great.
Hey.
And now we want to talk about this audition with Cameron and Kelsey. Kelsey will be his reader. But so you talked about, Cameron, that you, well, why don't you just do, why don't you, I mean, you talked about what you didn't feel you did. Is that your judgment or that's feedback you got?
I didn't actually get any feedback.
Okay.
That was me rewatching the tape and being like, I missed that he's supposed to be like lives like is glued to his computer in a computer lab like all day. And I didn't get, just watching it back, I didn't get the sense that I had achieved that. So I made some choices this time. I brought like a shirt and a pen, and like I'm going to make a couple physical choices that may hopefully speak to that.
All right, cool. Well, let's mute up and let's see what you guys can put together.
And just one note, Kelsey, I'm going to wait to come in on video until I actually go in. So I'm going to play behind the door, as it were, with the video off.
Okay, gotcha. I know that it's Friday night, but you do know what time it is, right?
I can't find it. I looked everywhere.
Find what?
My flash drive, it's gone.
Okay, so you lost it. You're not exactly Mr. Tidy.
No, I always keep it in my briefcase. I wouldn't lose something like this unless it fell out here.
I'm sorry, can we do this in the morning? Because
I gotta find it. If anyone else finds it, I'm screwed, I'm fired, and I'm going to jail.
Howard, calm down.
Did you take it?
Why would I take it?
I don't know.
Have you considered checking the school or?
Yeah, I already did. What if someone else took it?
What? Like who?
Why did I let you rope me into this?
I think you know why.
No. You don't understand. I can't lose my job. Okay? I've got debts. If I get nailed for this, I'm gonna.
Look, you're gonna what, lover?
I'm gonna tell people what you did and what you made me do.
What you need is a nice cup of hot tea. Because, sweetheart, you were overreacting.
No, I'm not. Everything was on that drive. Don't you get it?
Everything? Like the little notes you sent me telling me how much you adore me?
Yes, that stuff too. I back up everything, all the time. I mean, I do it every time I close a program. I'm super religious about it. I thought I was being careful, like having a copy of everything. But what I should have done was destroy everything the minute I was done with it. And
So you misplaced this little drive. So what? Those things, they're easy to lose. Just sit, drink, you'll feel better.
tomorrow I'm gonna find that drive.
Yes.
And I'm gonna make things right.
And so am I.
So what you guys don't know is she drops a roofie into his tea at the end. Yes. So Travis is very amused by that. So
I was amused by Yvette's reaction because she mouthed, "I was thinking that." Very, yeah.
So here's what I would say to you, Cameron. If you didn't like what you sent in, it's like killing the monkey that's on your back by doing it in a way that you really like it and that you feel, even if it doesn't matter. Listen, a lot of the times we do these auditions, I've done brilliant auditions, never heard anything. Crickets, tumbleweeds. And so what you have to do then, and this is just sort of actors' self-care thing, if it matters to you, what you have to do is then find a way to do it in a way that you think you just sort of, it's like a deficit that you can make up psychically in your brain. Did you do that in doing it this way?
It's hard. It was a little bit hard for me because there's something about the sort of klutzy, like all over the place guy that I feel I have that felt experience, and then there are other ways that just feels like a little much, But I think I achieved maybe more technically this time what I was after. I hope I didn't lose this story in the process.
Well, I think there's, I had the advantage of looking at this before we started class. And so there's clearly, I don't know exactly why he has to find that thing, but he has to. I mean, that's not really clear on the sides to me why. But there is a clear objective and a clear, nothing drives me crazier than when I can't find something. When I know I've lost it, it drives me out of my freaking mind because I do it, frankly, rarely. So when I do it, I go nuts with it. I felt that was, having looked at the script before, I think you did the stuff you wanted to do. Part of it, what I'm hearing from you a little bit, and Kelsey, you can speak to this as well because you were reading with him and you brought this to my attention, is that you're trying to, and this is an actor head thing. You're trying to do what you think they want.
Definitely.
And so that's kind of, that's a cul-de-sac that you got to get out of, because as long as you do what you think they want, they don't even know what the fuck they want most of the time. Do what you want within the confines and the construct of the scene, what has to be there, because we don't know what they want. We have a rough idea, and sometimes they'll see something wildly different than they thought, and they say, oh yeah, we like that. So you got to please yourself first, in my opinion. but I'd like to open it up and see what you all think. Yeah, John, and then Bianca.
Cameron, it's still baffling to me that I've not met you in person because I feel like I know you. But would you be willing to let us watch your initial tape?
Yeah, absolutely. Sure.
I feel like that'll give us all maybe a better idea of what you saw and the changes that you implemented. But I agree with what Michael was saying. I have a short anecdote to share later, perhaps, about that. But the rules are ever changing, and the rules are meant to be broken, and that's never more true than now.
I would need to dig it out. Would it maybe be something for like we could comment on next week or something? Or I can try to find it. I'm not sure what I did with it.
Yeah, if it's easy to find, that's fine. If not, you can send it to everyone individually. I'm curious, but I mean, this is when I look at the audition, this is a character with tremendous urgency, and we don't really know why. It's not clear why he's urgent, except that he has to find something because something is on there if it falls in the wrong hands.
Did I miss what is the show? What is the project?
It's from this kind of Lifetime movie style thing called, I think it was called Cheerleader.
Oh, got it. That's the initial conversation we had.
Right.
Whoops.
No worries.
Bianca, you had your hand up. I didn't want to cut you off.
I was just gonna say I really loved it, Cam, and I was just saw something from like a casting director saying that every self-tape she's been seeing has been the exact same. And I feel like if I was a casting director and I saw this, I would immediately put you at the top of my list because one, it's very different. You're using your camera in a different way, which I really liked. And I feel like, and I don't know if Kelsey gave you this tip, but she always tells me like to pull in when you really need to. And I feel like your face was the exact emotion and I could really get a read on you. So I really enjoyed it.
Yvette.
I really liked watching you go through like depths and in like an arc. On my part, like just like a little technical thing. In the very beginning, it felt really, really, really loud. I think it's also because your face was like really close to the camera, but it's just because it's Zoom, there's only so much we can do. But obviously with like self-tape, it's easier to control, but it's just like knowing the environment. But besides that, you did really good.
Thank you. No, that's a really good technical note too. Thank you.
Kelsey, did you have your hand up? Yeah.
I think it's interesting to remind yourself of when the styles are different. So this is like a Lifetime movie. So this scene has to hit X, Y, and Z. There are 3 parts to the scene, right? There's the information that now she knows that the flash drive is missing, right? That's important information. So that's revealing to her if she's the villain in this, that's happening. And then there's the middle section that's revealing that they have a relationship, right? A physical relationship. And then there's the third section that's revealing that she's drugging you. So you have to make each 3 of those things very distinct within this audition. And if you feel muddied, that can sometimes lead to feeling like I didn't get it. I fucked up. I didn't do a good job. And I think if you really strongly commit to those 3 little sections, just for like the Lifetime movies, because they shoot these things in 12 days. They shoot a full movie in 12 days. They don't have time for muddy. They need things super duper clear. And I think that's the trick of this thing is that you are in the urgency, but then you've got to flip into the like, ooh, we've had a thing. And then you've got to flip into the like, oh, I'm getting drugged. And it's so, once you like justify that with yourself on how to make it clear and true to you, it's easy. But you've got to see it in the writing first. You've got to break it down really easy.
It begs the question though, and this is a legit question. Do you break up and mark your script that way?
I think you do to start, like when you first go through it, just so that you know what beats you got to hit. Like you got to pop.
I'm asking
that.
Cameron if he does that. Cameron, do you?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Sorry,
I label.
You made it, buddy.
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, it's all right. I was just asking you, what is your prep work on stuff like this? Because I have a way of doing it for me personally, or when I coach somebody that is, I think, pretty well honed at this point. But I mean, everybody's got a different way in. Do you, how dogmatic do you get about that, about marking it and creating beats and structures? Because Kelsey's observation on the sort of the three elements of that is pretty right on.
Yeah, no, I do. I try to label the beats. I try to, break down each beat by action, and try to make space for the moments where I know that like what physically happens in a scene is done. I try to track the arc from like state from the beginning to the end. And yeah, I try to do different versions of the way I play each action accordingly, and try to choose the most interesting iteration of that.
Good. That's the right thing to do. I mean, it's interesting, and I'll just give you a personal comment and observation. I'll go back to my baseball metaphors because I love baseball metaphors. The Dodgers have a guy right now called Gavin Lux, who's a rookie, who was the top minor league player in all of the minor leagues last year. And you just see this kid is just fucking talented beyond belief. And he gets up and he can't make sense of the pitching, and he's not doing well yet. And then he had one game where he just broke out and went crazy. And you go, oh, that kid is so talented. You're kind of in that phase. You're very talented. I just want to be super clear about that, because I've seen enough of your work to be able to make that, to render that judgment. And you're probably just wondering, if I can put myself in your head, like, when is one of these things going to drop? And when is that going to happen? And in doing that, you start to want to please and to figure out what they want more than take agency about what you're bringing to it. I thought what you did was actually very good. I have no problem with that at all. But I sense that. I know what that feels like when you're just kind of dipping your toe in the water and you just want something to happen. And does that make sense?
It does. It really does. I was actually able to. Does your guys offer to watch my original one still stand? I just got it.
I'd like to see it. I think it will help. I mean, I'm curious, but I think it will benefit everybody.
Okay. Thank you for that, Michael. That really hits home.
Good. I mean, it's when I first talked to John about doing a class for me, I said, the acting is easy. It's the you're going to find you're in the mental health business because it's so difficult. It's just such a challenge. Did you just put the thing in the chat?
Can I actually, before we watch it, can I just piggyback off what you were saying, Michael?
Sure, of course.
And actually, Kelsey, really what you were saying, like I feel like a common thread that emerges between Michael, Kelsey, and I, and it's a philosophy that first attracted me to this community in the first place, is the idea that like to say outside in is an oversimplification, because everybody has their own. I think you have to develop your own way of working, but from a text analysis standpoint, you're able to formulate a strategy. And if you formulate a strategy, and if you prepare and you know your lines, and the actor has confidence, then you get to have fun when you're doing it. Like this piece of material should be a blast. You should leave tired, but you should be like, damn, I had fun. That is very difficult. That would be like someone explaining like quantum physics in one sentence. Like it's damn near impossible. But one of the critical things is understanding the role you play in the story. If this is a Lifetime movie, you're not the protagonist. So this is Kelsey's character's scene. So it's understanding how you fit into the structure. Co-stars play a role, guest stars play a role, leads play a role. You really got to build in a thing. Then in this case, you got the tone of the Lifetime, which is basically going to play against every instinct of a good actor that you have spent countless dollars and time building. Then you have that you're auditioning, you're the only face they're seeing, but you're actually there to make the other character look good. So that's another text analysis thing. Then you have to factor that into the whole plan, and you're a trained actor, all that. What I mean to say is sometimes with stuff, with material that is, this goes for everybody, objectively beneath you, maybe it's good not to overthink it. And I can't say I have a great success with that, but I think sometimes we get so caught up in me, how I feel, and I'm going to mark my script up and I'm doing this. Sometimes you have to go, does the material justify this amount of thought? And if it doesn't, sometimes just flying off the cuff and having fun is the best thing you can do. And I fully adhere to that. If it's a David Fincher movie or a Paul Thomas Anderson movie, you better do the Anthony Hopkins thing, read it 100 times and mark it all up. But if it's a Lifetime movie, bro, your first instincts are oftentimes your best because you have that skill and everybody on this thread has that skill. And there's something raw and real about not overthinking everything. Last thing I'll say tonight, I swear to God.
Voss.
Thank you for that.
Hi. Okay. Really quickly, piggybacking off of that, I don't want to speak for you or anyone. I'm in this. I love doing this because I love doing this. It's a lot of fun. It's really enjoyable, and it makes me feel the most myself. And I think that there are some days that are hard where you look at your work and you're like, oh, I could have done better. I could have done better. But that can be kind of like a buzz killer. And I think that the buzz is what keeps it going. You know what I mean? Like, we're supposed to love this. We're supposed to have fun. And if it takes you looking in a mirror and just reminding yourself, I'm fucking awesome, I am meant to do this, I'm gonna be great, do it. Because it's about feeling yourself. So I hope you take that.
I really appreciate that. Thank you. That means a lot. That's a really good reminder. And John, yeah, I think you're right. I think there is such a thing as overthinking it. And sometimes you really just want to see exactly what it is. For what that story is. So thank you for those thoughts as well.
Yeah,
I think like professional training will give you a lot, right? It throws a lot at you, but it's going to be your job as you do these classes and do these projects. Like, you really have to form your own point of view and your own way of working. And the difference between being what they want or being afraid of what they want or trying to please somebody, I mean, it's like a dysfunctional relationship versus forming a very solid point of view. And it's like every bad reality TV show, at some point they interview someone, they go, I'm not here to make friends. But you can't be looking for approval. You instead, if you lay down a tape or an audition and you leave and you go, I mean, it's Michael's question, did I do what I want to do? If you can go, yeah, I did it, that was me. That's what Voss is talking about. That's the buzz. And like, it's, have you ever had this same reaction to anything you've done in the classes?
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, you're too smart for your own good, Cameron.
Yeah.
You should start watching Selling Sunset on Netflix. Trust me, it'll knock those IQ points down.
You know, a number of years ago, Jeff Tambor came to my class when we were still over at the Pico, and somebody asked him about auditioning, and, do you still audition? And he said, and he does, he did. And he said, they said, how do you approach it? He said, my approach is, if you choose to pay me, this is how I would do it. That's perfect. So it puts it in this is how I would do it if you paid me. And please pay me. And there was a certain power in that, creating the narrative for yourself psychologically going into this stuff is tricky. And you're probably not there yet because you're really still young and developing, but you will be, because you're curious about it and you're interested in it. And you want to get better for all the right reasons, in my opinion. So, it's the other thing is once you, because we all have, man, I've had some really stinky auditions over the years, and you just put it behind you. You go, okay, I didn't have my best day, or I didn't prepare enough, or I over prepared. We just don't know. it's tricky, but you're doing great. You're doing the things you need to do. You're asking the right questions, and at some point everything lines up, and it will. I guarantee you. Should we look at this? Can we all look at this, or how does this
Yeah,
work?
I threw it up. I threw the YouTube link up there. It's unlisted, so if it's not public, but if you have the link that I just posted, you should be able to-
Treat it like one of the self-tape classes. Everybody just mute for a second and watch it.
Yeah. Okay, do that. Okay, I think we're back. I want to just, I want to withhold my comments on this. I want to open it up to people for a couple things. One is technical stuff, and one is content and the creative content of it. But yes, Christine.
I thought it was great. Like from the, I thought it was a strong start, and I think that it was kind of what John and Kelsey were saying about like the style of like the very clean cut. It seems basic to us, but it is very, very clean and sharp. And I thought it was wonderful. I understand like putting something on and thinking like, oh, this is the right thing to do almost. And then looking back and being like, oh my God, I hate my face. I hate everything. but there's this thing, but that being said, I would, the first like 10 seconds of that take were super solid to me. Like if I were pretending I were a casting director, that would be something that's like, this person's good. And I would keep watching. So I think it's solid, man. I think it was good. Technically, I'm still kind of new to all of it, so I'll leave that to someone else. But yeah.
Thank you.
Yes, Trav.
Buttons. What was the note that they gave you that they didn't feel nerd from you? Was that what I remember from earlier in the day?
That was actually just my note upon rewatching it. I was like, well, this one's gone. I wonder what happened. And then I thought, oh, I I thought I played it too straight on watching that.
No,
if
I liked it.
Go ahead.
Sorry, Michael, you go ahead.
No, go ahead. I interrupted.
Okay, well, what I was gonna say is that like, because you said the nerd thing, and I saw you like dial that up, but that's hard to fake, you know? Because from you, I always get like, I get like cool casual dude from you, from all the things that I've watched in all these Zoom classes, and I think, you know, you've got like a good dude voice. When you go deep, like your voice is like very manly, and I think that like maybe in your mind that didn't feel nerdish, but it's hard to like play if you're not a nebbish dude. You can't play fucking nebbish, so I wouldn't even be concerned about that. You know what I'm saying? That's really all I wanted to say.
I also think you were more angry in that take than you were in the thing you did with Kelsey. It wasn't, you were more genuinely desperate with Kelsey. You came in kind of angry, and I don't think that works. Technically, I think it needs a lot of work. The green background doesn't work for you, and I can defer that to others, but technically, I mean, here's the thing, and this is unfair and it's bullshit, but it is the thing. We have to put ourselves in the best light, physically and emotionally and light-wise. And so the minute you don't, and I'm speaking to myself because I don't know shit about, I really don't know that much about self-taping myself. But let's give them fewer reasons to say no. Part of the thing about the technical aspect of it is they will say no, and they will swipe right or swipe left or whatever the fuck they do based on the green background. I mean, it's ridiculous, but I mean, that is the truth of the matter. So one of the things I want to do in this class that we're starting to do is to really kind of unlock that so that you have a consistent, reliable way of doing it. Technically, I thought it was, my big note is technically it needs work, and you just seemed more angry than desperate, which when you did it with Kelsey, I thought the desperation played quite nicely. Other thoughts on the technical stuff? Anybody? Kelsey.
I would say you're overthinking the technical stuff. And I say that with the green background, but I also say that with having the board halfway there to have something to smack out of the way. We get that with the energy that you've got. You don't need to add that in, and you don't need to have the cup. We actually don't need to see you take the cup. And I think it is interesting. The pulled out frame is really good for seeing you look around, but what it does is it actually forces you to make physical movements that I don't think you would make in real life. Like you do this move a lot, where you turn away from your reader and you put your hand out. You're telling us rather than just living it. You're showing us that you're pushing her away rather than just like living in that moment. And I think if you just tighten up the shot, let us see your face. Because sure enough, in the filming of the Lifetime movie, they're going to come in for the close-up on your face when he's really angry or really upset or really moment, and really taking, you just kind of blew past the three moments, right? You blew past through lover. When she says lover, something has to happen, right? And then when she says T, something has to happen. So it's making those super sharp is good. But I did love the energy you came in with, and I thought like, oh, good, he's here. He like really has something to look forward to, which is what Michael mentioned in the first place, like really losing something and needing it, just overthinking it. And I think that's just because you're a super smart guy and like you want to overthink it, but you don't have to. You don't, because it's there. Sorry, I'm gonna shut up now.
It actually helps a lot and clarifies just how much I was probably overcomplicating it.
Emma.
I really liked the performance, both the one that you did with us and then on tape. I just had a technical note because I know that we're all trying to figure out how to self-tape. I agree with Kelsey. I think having more close-up shots so we can really see your face, especially with a Lifetime movie, they are more like slow pan. The lighting will probably be like really cool toned and moody. So playing around with those kind of effects could also help, especially if you don't feel like you might fit into the nerd stereotype that they created. You could still like put yourself in that world, so you could show them, hey, I may not be the nerd, but I can be this guy, and kind of put yourself in the world so they can see you in it. That's what I've been playing around with, just like playing around with like the cool versus warm, and having the, like putting yourself in the environment. But go with your gut. I mean, that the tape that you showed us was great. So thank you for sharing that, by the way.
John.
I'm going to play a little bit of devil's advocate and say I appreciate the above and beyond thought to the technicals. I agree that the thing at the beginning was confusing because we have to ride the line between the exercise of previous iterations of this class of like create a scene versus just certain tried and true audition things. And there's just things you do and things you don't do. You don't see the reader's hand come in. That said, I do like that you took the cup. I do like that there were props. There's just things you have to really ask yourself. You have to take yourself out of actor brain and put yourself in director brain and go, does this add to Cameron? Or am I compensating by trying to create the scene? They know the scene. They're going to see the scene 150 times, if not more. They got it. Trust me. They hate it already. Everything you do should be additive to you, be it lighting, be it background, be it wardrobe, be it performance. There is absolutely one place that all your energy should conduit to, and that is to show you in the most favorable light. If you do that technically, and then you do all the work behind the scenes, then you just get to play. Give yourself, no less than 3 takes, but no more than 5. And just have fun. Don't feel the need to overcompensate. But I think the critical thing is to just understand where you fit and what you're auditioning for. Your first one was great. Your first one was great. It was eye-catching. No, I will eat my shoe. I will publicly humiliate myself if anyone shows me a human being that looks good against a lime green background. I think you could take like you could take like Henry Cavill in Superman shape and put him against a green background. It's like, like there's just better solutions. And I know that's like old logic is like it's always green or it's always blue. I mean, just look at the thumbnails here. Look at how interesting the thumbnails on your screen are. If you folks have it in gallery view, you're drawn to whoever's speaking. You don't want to go blue, 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 green, 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 blue, blue, blue. So to Michael's note, there's that. The last thing, I promise, now I swear to God, the last thing I'll say. Eye lines. You hurt yourself with the eye lines. What I always prescribe is if you can stick to 2, if it's one character, you stick to 1. But if there's multiple things, if you can stick to 2, that's great. If you have to have 3, it's almost like you number them. Your primary eye lines were so far off, and then when you were thinking, you were here. If you flip that, if you put your primary, think about how the close-up's going to be shot. As close as you can get to the barrel without looking down the barrel. That's how even crummy TV or Lifetime stuff is shot. Think about the framing, and if you watch it based on the framing, you can sort of reverse engineer that shot. Then when you're thinking, if you're looking for the flash drive and it's over here, you really buy yourself the physicality of getting to play that stuff. But then when you go back to her, boom, we're locked onto you. You can do so much more with your face and your eyes than with your body.
The other thing, I think that's so spot on, John. And the other thing, it reminded me, there's a guy who I coached for a long time who was quite good, was getting a lot of opportunity, not actually doing too well. And I noticed he would always look away. In the middle of an audition, he found a place to look away, always. And I finally said, don't look away. Don't look away. And the minute you look away, unless it's with tremendous purpose, like having to find something, you are giving up some power in that audition. Don't just train yourself to stay on it and to keep it tight. And not that there's any direct connection, but shortly after that, he booked a series. But I did say, like, just.
I see what you did there, Michael.
Yeah. But I said, where are you looking? What's so interesting over there? The interesting stuff is right here. Don't go over there, stay here. And he is a very good actor. And I know I changed his life entirely with that advice.
I love that. That's really cool.
But it's kind of true. It's like so basic. I kept saying, what's over there? Stay with us, stay with us. This was great, by the way, really helpful. I mean, this is what I love, and why I miss seeing you all in person, is this sense of us kind of trying to row the boat in the same direction creatively, and helping each other and being there for each other. And I hope you found it helpful. And I think it's just a great thing. That's all.
I really found it helpful, and thank you all for I know I took a lot of class tonight, but thank you for sticking with me and helping me figure out some of these things.
Cool. So are we having a play reading on Thursday, John?
What's that?
Is there a play reading on Thursday?
There is. Sorry, I'm getting a call from Washington, D.C., and it is actually, I think I've just lost hearing in my left ear because it came through on my laptop. There is a play reading. There's a play reading Thursday. It is called The Third Story. Farrell is in it. I am in it, in a wig. Abs is in it. It is by far and away the fucking weirdest play you will probably ever encounter. It might be a disaster, but if there's any reason to tune in, who doesn't want to see a hot mess and laugh at everybody? Sam Schweikert's back. He has a mustache. Brian Davis is in it. He plays a character called Zygo. What more do you fucking need? Thursday at 7 p.m. The link will go out tomorrow.
And I will send you all stuff for next week. And if you haven't responded about the next session and you're still on the fence, just let me know. There is limited room, but we can make rooms. I'd love to have any of you who have not yet decided on that. Great class tonight, everybody. Thank you so much. I will see you soon.